We need to take action and claim this relief money. If you meet the eligibility requirements, it is possible that you are one of the 5 million Americans that are currently owed money by the federal government. On average, these checks are worth nearly $1,000, and time is running out for 1.5 million Americans to claim $1.5 billion in unclaimed tax refunds. The IRS says that taxpayers have until July 17th to even claim the refunds from the 2019 tax year. Most Americans file annual tax returns, but the low-income households that make less than the standard deduction is $12,000 for individuals. Typically, you don't have to file a return with the IRS, and the average median refund for tax year 2019 was $893. According to CBS News, the IRS commissioner said in a statement that some people may have missed the deadline in 2020 because of the crisis. And under federal law, taxpayers have 3 years to file and claim tax refunds. If they don't claim refunds within 3 years, then the money goes to the Treasury. And due to the crisis, people have more time to claim their refunds because the window for 2019 unfiled returns was pushed to July 17. The IRS even noted the average median refund for 2019 was $893, but taxpayers could also miss out on the earned income tax credit, which is worth as much as $6,500. It is important to claim any relief money, especially as the cost of living across the country doesn't seem to be getting any more affordable. More Americans are struggling to pay their household bills compared with a year ago, but the rise in hardship isn't hitting all the groups equally. Older workers and people over 65 who are largely retired have experienced a sharp rise in financial hardship. The share of people from 55 to 64 years old who said they had difficulty paying their bills in the last 7 days rose 8 percentage points in April to early May versus a year ago. 37% of people in the age group report finding it somewhat very difficult to handle their financial obligations. The impact of inflation has been hard on the older Americans, and experts say this is partly because older workers fail to receive the boost to wages that lift the earnings of younger employees. And when it comes to real estate, timing is everything. If you've been waiting to buy or sell a home, you're probably anxiously waiting to see what the market will look like by the end of spring. Existing homes right now declined 22% from a year ago, and notably, the inventory of unsold existing homes increased by 1% from February. This is equal to 2.6 months supply of inventory at the current monthly sales rate. And while conditions are currently looking promising for buyers, it's never wise to get too comfortable in today's volatile market. There's no way to know for sure what the market will bring before summer officially begins. But analysts have released their projections, and one analyst even told Yahoo News overall home prices are trending lower, although that is not an indication of a deflation in value. New home prices will rise again 680,000 units by the end of spring, which is well above the 620,000 realized over the past 3 months. Now, one thing we know for sure is that Joe Biden must do more for the American people in sending out stimulus payments.
Hello, Fort Liberty. It's great to be back at the center of the universe. Especially all you crazy guys that jump out of planes. Tiffany, thanks so much for that introduction and for your family's service to our country. General Donahue, Command Sergeant Major Holland, general officers, the governor of the great state of North Carolina is here with us. Congressman from the district is here with us. It's an honor to be here with you this afternoon. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. You know, people like to joke when the president calls 911, the phone rings at Fort Liberty. Well, that's not too far from the truth. When you answer freedom's call every time. It's you who take on so many of the nation's toughest missions. You deploy quickly and quietly. You risk your safety, protect the safety of Americans all across the world and all around the world. I've been in over 80 countries seeing how you work, and you're incredible. We literally have the single finest fighting force in the history of the world. That is not hyperbole. That's a fact. That is a fact. As the English poet John Milton once wrote, they also serve who only stand and wait. The years our son was in Iraq for a year, before that in Kosovo, I get up in the morning, see my wife who teaches school. She'd start earlier than I would, and she'd be standing there at the sink drinking her coffee, mouthing a prayer. Every one of you spouses knows what happens, what possible can happen when your son, daughter, husband, wife are deployed. Jill and I never
is really experiencing a backlog of claims. We talked about this last night, which I know really got worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then, of course, with the passage of the PACT Act last year, the number of benefits, veterans seeking benefits is only going to rise. So I wanted to ask you, if confirmed, what are you going to do to make sure that veterans are receiving timely responses to their claims?
Senator Murray, thank you very much for that question. When I was...
I'm so glad you're here today. You have a doctorate in chemical engineering. It's my understanding that most natural gas pipelines, and we talked about them, are not equipped to ship blends of methane and hydrogen where the hydrogen component is greater than 20%. Could you please explain to all of us how a conventional natural gas pipeline differs from a pipeline which is capable of shipping blends with more than 20% hydrogen?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Senator Barrasso. So hydrogen, being such a small molecule and corrosive, can create cracks and attack imperfections.
Are stimulus checks going to be sent out immediately? I know many of you are wondering what's the status for fourth round of stimulus payments. Well, new information has just been released, everybody. I know many of you are hoping for another round of enhanced child tax credit law this year passed by congressional lawmakers. However, you might live in one of the many states making plans to send more money to families between this year and 2023. The last monthly child tax credit payment was disbursed in December, with the final check arriving after parents filed their tax returns this year. There is a Republican Senate proposal that would send up to $350 per child and includes a work requirement. The proposal from Mitt Romney will restart monthly payments for millions of people. But unlike previous stimulus efforts, Romney's plan, which is officially known as the Family Security Act, could put the work requirements in place for millions of recipients. The Family Security Act will provide monthly benefits of up to $350 a month for families with children 0 to 5, and $250 per month to those with children ages 6 to 17. The maximum monthly payment for families would be $1,250, and expectant parents would be able to apply for benefits to begin 4 months prior to their child's due date. In a statement, Romney said his act creates a new national commitment to American families by modernizing and streamlining antiquated federal policies. The biggest element of Romney's plan is the inclusion of work requirements for payment recipients. Details on the exact requirements were not included in the plan, but a common threshold for a state-level benefit is 80 hours a week a month, or a comparable amount of job training or volunteer work. Romney's staff said the legislation is subject to negotiation and is not finalized. And Governor Ned Lyman also announced that this weekend the state will deliver a one-time back-to-school crisis relief benefit of $257 per child to more than 15,000 low-income Connecticut households.